control of this entire site. And so we have site control, which really aligns itself with being able to move quickly and bring an incredible new experience to not just the city of Albany, but to the capital region. This is our ability to build on the excitement of having the women's semifinals here. We've shown that we can bring sports fans into our city. We've shown that we can be a host city. We've shown that people will figure out where to park and walk to the venue, which they did for the MVP Arena. This is a location that is proximate to the MVP Arena. It's close to the new Capitol Center. And so this is the right place, the right time, and the right opportunity for, again, not just the city of Albany. This is a huge regional opportunity.
What was the nature of the conversation at the Capitol today with the governor?
Well, look, we spoke with some folks in the governor's office and talked about what this opportunity really means. We have to give our governor incredible credit. She's done many things, but two of the things that she's focused on right now is bringing high-tech jobs to this region, investing billions of dollars in both chip fab and in the AI center at the Nano College. We look at the investments that are being made at RPI, and we are placing ourselves at the epicenter of tech. And so we need to ensure that we're creating the attractions and the housing that people coming here, businesses that will want to locate here because of the investments that the governor is making, we have to create those places and spaces. So she's also focused on housing. And so we have been all in on the governor's push to build more housing. And that's why this plan includes not only building this sports complex for a Major League Soccer team, but also creating hundreds of units of housing as well. And so this builds on the investments that the governor has already made, and I think it's just an incredibly exciting opportunity. That's the message that we gave to the governor's office, and I think that is one of the reasons that we feel optimistic that we're going to be able to make this happen.
Talk about housing, jobs, and entertainment. That's great. There's also talk of a flagship hotel. That was something the NCAA said they would like to have here as well.
Right. I mean, we found that we were, I think, able to knock it out of the park. Our hotels did a phenomenal job for the NCAA tournament, but we demonstrated that there is a market for more. And so there could be a hotel as part of this as well. We have left it very open with the state. We want to ensure that this is a conversation and a back and forth. But you talk about all of the things that we're trying to do in New York State, creating walkable cities, creating spaces that are interesting, that are dynamic, and this is the ideal space. And the great thing about this location is that we already have site control. And so this isn't a situation where you're going to have speculators holding out for outrageous prices. We will be able to build on this site in a way that makes sense, that makes economic sense for the state, makes economic sense for the city, and is going to build our economy and create even more jobs and more opportunity here.
Do you have numbers on the possible housing and jobs that could be brought in?
So I'm going to let Jeff Buell talk more about that, but I will say, at this point, we are excited about the opportunity, and I can't stress enough, Major League Soccer is all in on Albany. They love this location. They love the opportunity here. They love this market. They are confident that this will be a very strong market for Major League Soccer. And so having that outside view of what we have here in this incredible region is just affirming the investments that the governor is making, the investments that have been made up until now, and the possibility and the potential of this for the future.
Municipalities have had mixed results when it comes to economic impacts, when it comes to building stadiums of this nature or any kind of nature. How much is that in consideration when building this?
I think that is falls into the category of lessons learned, which is why this is so much more than just a sports facility. This is going to be a Major League Soccer stadium. That's what we want here, but it is going to be built in a way that it can be used for other purposes. We saw the demand that exists for athletic facilities when the College of St. Rose announced that it was closing, and it was immediate that we were approached by a number of different organizations to say, hey, we want the soccer field at the Pomeri Center. That's how high the demand is. Creating a world-class facility here is going to generate opportunities to host other events, to ensure that there's programming not just during the soccer season, but then also building in the housing, the public spaces, and the commercial spaces that are going to go along with it allows us to learn from those lessons. You know, this isn't about taking something and putting it in the middle of nowhere with a huge parking lot around it. This is putting something in the center of a city that has multiple parking garages, multiple living units already, creating more living units, creating that walkability and that sense of place that I'm really very excited about, as you can tell. Thank you, everyone.
You guys want us one at a time or individual? You got it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Ed, why don't you be in the middle?
Okay. Jeff Buell, last name is B-U-E-L-L. B-U-E-L-L. Sequence Development is the title, or is the company.
Ed Mitzen, M-I-T-Z-E-N, co-founder with my wife Lisa of Business for Good, and also the CEO of Finger Paint Marketing.
Lisa, yeah, you've got me. Lisa, L-I-S-A, Mitzen, co-founder, Business for Good.
We'll just talk about why we're here today.
Yeah, so it's a really exciting day. We've been working on this for about 6 months. Our team has been down to meet with Major League Soccer down in Manhattan several times over the past few months. Had great meetings. The president of MLS Next Pro was up all day today and last night, meeting with us and members of the media and members of the local community. We couldn't be more excited about this. For those of you who are not familiar with the Next Pro League, MLS has basically a AAA baseball affiliate type situation with MLS Next Pro. So these are kids that are going to come from all over the world to train and play here against other cities of our size, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and High Point, North Carolina, and those types of cities, and then hopefully graduate up to the MLS big leagues. So we're excited because we see this much more than just bringing a sports team here. It's about revitalizing a community, renovating an area that obviously, if you guys pan around, there's not a lot here. It's parking lots and a really rundown Greyhound bus station. So we're excited to bring, and Jeff will talk more about it, but a big housing component, hospitality and entertainment, And so Lisa and I have filed a formal application with MLS, and we're now going through the process of getting that approved and hopefully getting the site all locked up so that we can make this thing happen.
What does that process look like? How long are we talking?
So it's an accelerated process because MLS is getting a lot of attention from a lot of different cities. So we're hoping to get this solidified with them in the next, I would say, 90 to 120 days. The goal is to be playing our first game at home in June of 2026. So that's a pretty accelerated timeline, as you can imagine. But we feel like this is too big of an opportunity with the explosion of the popularity of soccer with the World Cup coming to the U.S. in 2026. We feel the timing is now to make this happen. Anything you want to add? Or?
I think you covered it.
Okay, Jeff, do you want
Cool.
to?
Yeah. I heard somebody ask the mayor about economic development associated with stadiums, so I'm going to really hammer on that. This we have geared up to be an economic development project. So when the final costs roll in and we figure out what we're doing, the intention is that the cost of the sports facility would be 20% of the total development. So we are looking at restaurants and commercial space, hospitality. Got hospital in my head. Hundreds of new apartments. Obviously, the governor has a very strong initiative on housing. So we're looking at this as what we would like to do is create a new neighborhood here, a new neighborhood that transcends the parking lot district right now and becomes a connection point between the south end of Albany and downtown Albany and the beacon that draws everyone in. That's a big piece of this puzzle.
Jeff, obviously, you being in this area, we can go down the list of teams that have
Sure,
been here
Sean.
and left. I mean, obviously, we had the Yankees here, we had the Firebirds here, we had the...
Yeah.
How do we think this is gonna be something that people are gonna get on board with?
Yeah.
and
Well-
come to and then stay throughout, 5, 6, 10 years?
So anyone I've mentioned this to in the past couple of weeks, as I work my way through the pessimistic bellwethers that occupy the capital region, this is obviously the thing that comes to the forefront. The best way that I can respond to it, having worked through the conversation, is this area has never invested in a league like Major League Soccer. The leagues that we've invested in, they're all fine, they do well. We actually do well. It's usually the league that fails, not the team. Last year maybe being a little bit of an exception. Sorry. You're investing right now in a team that is in a league that is on the upswing, right? Major League Soccer is only 30 years old. This is like investing in Major League Baseball in the 40s or investing in the NFL in the 60s. Soccer is the way of the future. I thought the mayor made some really great comments about the targeted investments that the state is making at Global Foundries and Micron and CNSE and Regeneron. And as somebody who houses a lot of people under the age of 40, these folks are watching soccer. They're not watching basketball, or not watching baseball. They're not watching football. We feel like we are on the right side of the swing with Major League Soccer, and that's the why for Major League Soccer. They're also incredibly urban focused. They love our site. I'm going capital L on the love. Those are their words. And as the mayor said today, Major League Soccer is all in on Albany. And it's the Albany region. We want to be careful about that, right? We pitch Major League Soccer on the region. We explain to them the benefit of being here and the million people that are here, how diverse we are in municipal structure. And when they came back to us and said, where do you want to be? We said Liberty Park in downtown Albany because we think regionally this is what needs to happen.
The mayor was up at the Capitol with some of the executives, I think MLS today, maybe you guys too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess that lends itself to the costs and where do they fall, who is paying for what and where.
Yeah, we definitely don't know who is paying for what and where yet. You don't want to shy away from it. It's going to be a sizable ask, as all event centers are. I was joking with a few people today about the MVP Arena being built 30 plus years ago and how important that is for the entire region. And if we had never built that, then I would not have seen Ric Flair win the Royal Rumble in 1993. And what a disappointment that would have been to childhood Jeff. So I think when you start to look at things like that and what it means long term to actually build infrastructure, that what downtown Albany needs most is people from the suburbs to start coming back into downtown Albany again, and we need to create the infrastructure to make that a reality, and we view this as that.
And along with having the Major League Soccer team play here, the facility could be used for outdoor stadiums. It could be used for any sports event, concerts, any sports event that's played on a rectangle. You could have lacrosse games here. You could have rugby, obviously soccer, and that's the really exciting part. I mean, where in the state should we host the high school boys and girls state soccer championships if not in the capital? So we see this as a great economic opportunity. The fact that MLS is so pumped about this gives us all a reason to be optimistic and not think about all the things that haven't worked in the past. The other thing is we have a 800-person marketing company behind us in Finger Paint that is going to help us ensure that this is very successful and marketed well.
Is it around, I'm sorry to harp on
No, it's all right.
the Albany Business Review article had $300 million.
That's the total development cost for the entire
Right.
site. Yeah, we estimate the stadium is probably somewhere between 75 and 85 million. So we're really honing in on, obviously there's conversations around the state about stadiums and what that looks like. If the stadium is just 25% of the total deal, then we feel like we're doing something really positive.
Do you think this moves Albany further away from its effort to reconnect the entire city with the waterfront?
Why?
Because if you put something big in the middle of it, and we're going to take these highways down, maybe not in our lifetime, but at some point.
Well, in your lifetime, definitely they will. I would say, no, I think the exact opposite, right? I think what we're trying to do here, and I said this to some of the state folks today, is this is economic development in reverse. So the biggest problem I think we have with 787 and with the canal project and all the things that we want to do is that we are taking an if you build it, they will come approach. And what we're saying is let's go invest $300 million anticipating that these bridges will come down, anticipating that a canal will run through this, because then you're building an attraction that people are already accustomed to coming to, and you can say like they did in San Antonio and Indianapolis and Providence and all the places that did it right, that well, we're doing this because we're strengthening what we already have here.
Do you think it'd be difficult to get people to come to things? I mean, Firewolves, they rarely sell out a game unless it's a really big deal. Do you think it'd be crowd to
No.
want to be here?
No, we sold out like 8 straight games of women's basketball.
That's
Bruce
a lot
Springsteen.
different.
Bruce Springsteen. This thing. SmackDown is here on May 31st. It'll be a sellout. This thing sells out continuously. There is no problem selling out the MVP arena at all.
Well, for
And I
smaller
think-
things, like that's like a bigger event, but for smaller events, not that soccer's small.
Well,
but
it's an
for other
it's an
events.
8,000 seat place, right? So you've got concert venues that maybe are too small for SPAC that would love to come down here. It's an outdoor facility, which is fantastic. And soccer's on a different level right now. I mean, it is exploding in popularity. The MLS folks, when they came up and toured the site with us and we went through the plans, their one concern was, do you have enough seats? Based on what they've seen in other cities of our size. So we're going at this with eyes wide open, but incredibly optimistic about what this is going to do.
You did say you had an aggressive plan. You wanted to open by June 26th.
Yeah.
When do you plan to break down? If everything is
Too early to say, but before June of 25.
so before the summer breaks?
Yeah, we would have to if we were going to hit that date.
And the development would all occur at the same
Yeah,
time.
we wanna be building
so the
everything.
housing will go up at the same time as the restaurants, the same time as the stadium.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
It won't be phased in.
No, we're going to do it. We're going to take a big swing.
Yeah, the market exists. We've built
Yep.
1,200 apartments in the last 5 years in Albany. They're all full. The market's here.
So what's the nature of the housing?
I would love to see a mixed income product because it's hard to pull mixed income off in cities that don't pack density. So if you look at something like 80% of AMI or 60% of AMI, and then you go to the workforce, which is at 100, and then I don't do luxury housing personally, but I think we want to see all types of people living inside the buildings. We've actually positioned them. Joe will send out the rendering after the event, and you'll see that the stadium is actually bookended by residential buildings. So you'll have people watching from their living room, which is, I don't know. We always try to do some big city stuff in Albany. It's beneficial to bring things like you would see in people that aren't afraid to say we like our city.
And our plan is to hire people from the South End and create jobs for them, similar to what we did with Hattie's on a much smaller scale. This is going to be a big thing for us.
I'm going to do the worst thing ever and turn my back to the camera. You guys just focus this way. I'll walk you through it. So theoretically, the edge of the stadium is sort of right where these cars are parked right here, and then it would go. The trailway side would come. The trailways building would come down, and it would basically go north to south on the site. This would become a green pedestrian walkway. This is a park over here. The e-commerce building that is in the background would be saved the way we've laid this out right now. So we love preservation. This building to our left is the oldest building in Albany. It stays, it gets rehabbed, it looks great. And then we do infill all around.
So you're going to try to keep the historic buildings.
Yeah, I don't like to demo things, except Central Warehouse.
That was going to be my question. I mean, a lot of people wondered, could that have spot worked for something like that?
It's a little small. We absolutely looked at it. You need about 5.5 acres to fit a stadium in an appropriate way. And honestly, the in and out of the stadium and the symbiotic relationship it'll have with the MVP arena as two event centers that you can communicate back and forth between, this site is the one that makes sense.
It's 9 acres all in, and
So it allows for that neighborhood feel, the housing, the green space, the hospitality, and the stadium.
Yeah.
So
and the renderings that you've seen online were basically designed just to show how something could fit. You want to talk about the architecture firms and where?
Yeah, we're working with a couple of global architecture firms. I had to say that correctly. I've never done that before. That Major League Soccer set us up with. All the love in the world of Reform Architecture in Schenectady, who did an outstanding job showing us what could be on this site. And now we're going to engage with some large folks to build a stadium who are excited to work on a regional project that is really focused on the walkability and livability of the city.
So I would ask the people not to get hung up on I don't like the brown color.
Yeah,
of the like
it's a
like
good comment.
just give us some time, and I think you'll be really thrilled with what we come out with.
There's a lot of good stuff coming out of your mouth. Is there any challenge that you foresee being the bigger problem in this whole situation that you're ready to face?
The
Timing.
timeline is awful. It's a brutal
sorry.
timeline. What I love about the timeline is, if we said it was going to be 27 or 28, I think that's a little pie. It becomes a pie in the sky idea. Whereas this idea is either going forward or dead in 6 months. Like you'll know. So it'll be quick.
And MLS is getting approached like crazy from cities, and they love this area. We'd be the only one in upstate New York, but they can't waste time, right? They're not going to hang on for 3 years while we get our ducks in a row. So that's why we've got to get a commitment. We've got to get the financing lined up, both public and private, and go. And otherwise, I think we all know that if something like this doesn't happen, in 5 years, we're going to be standing here going, what do we do with these parking lots? And what are we going to do with the bus station, right? So let's just take a swing and let's get this done.
What's your major stadiums? When you walk the distance from each other, have you already thought about how it's going to impact traffic, the parking, just even during the project and after?
Sure. Go ahead. I give him the hard ones.
Yeah. Yes, right. I think I do TV so little because I don't like how I can't spitball. I think that we would want to definitely work together, maybe even have the same management group doing both so that you're not booking Bruce Springsteen with the Avett Brothers on the same night and having chaos. So I think we'll work through that programmatically, but as one of my great developer friends says, if you don't have a parking problem, you actually have a way bigger problem. And so if we're having to solve parking in Albany moving forward, then I'll be a very happy person.
And Lisa and I would own the team, but we would not own the facility. We would lease the facility from the owners.
Any ideas on a name?
We've worked on that. The guys at Fingerpaint have come up with a name. We're not ready to release it yet. I will.
How firm is the MLS commitment?
I'm sorry?
How firm is the commitment from the MLS?
They're ready to go. I mean, they've basically told us that we're in. We love this. They love what Lisa and I are doing with the foundation and the economic development work that Jeff's done.
They're excited. Their timeline is aggressive, but they're all in as long as we can do this project. As long as we can get it built.
They have an expansion committee. They've already taken Albany to the expansion committee to get input. The next step, once we get all the financing lined up, is that they take it to their board, which is basically one person from each MLS team. They vote on it, and we're off and running.
The key is the funding of the stadium. So if the stadium can get built, then we've secured the franchise.
Yeah, they won't give us an approval without knowing that we're serious about building a complex, because they don't want to get egg on their face and say they're coming to Albany and then suddenly something happens. So
let me really quick walk back what I just said, because I'm learning soccer lingo as a guy who grew up watching football. They're not franchises; these are clubs. So secure the club, and if you use the word zero, please say nil.
What's the next step in securing funding?
We're going to continue to work with the state and local electeds. We met with Assemblywoman Fahey, Assemblyman McDonald, County Executive McCoy, Mayor Sheehan today to say we need a team approach to this. So when I tell you we'll know 6 months from now whether it's alive or dead, we will know 6 months from now where we are.
Do we have numbers from the state that you're looking for? Or
No.
Are we too soon?
Too soon. Easy peasy.
any other
Thank you all.
questions? Thanks.
Joe's got
everybody.
the renderings.
Thank you.
He's emailing it to you.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
And
Thanks,
thanks to
everybody.
Joe for picking up this unpaid gig randomly.